What's up YouTube, this is Nicholas's Figure Reviews and this is the video review for S.H.Figuarts Mask Rider Kiva-la from Kamen Rider Decade and Double 2010 movie. I don't know much of the details, like the title in general. It's just a movie where, you know, Kiva-la appeared like only like once or two times, I don't know. So this figure was unexpected because many people weren't expecting her to have a S.H.F release, but many people hype about it because it's one of our first few female Kamen Rider S.H.Fs, and oh yeah, it looks good. Alright, so I was really hyped when I was about to collect this figure on, you know, from my local pre-order dude, whatever you call him. And from the box you can tell it already looks quite good. So you have the new box, you know, the new stylized box that's this size. It's Mask Rider Kiva-la. You have a silhouette of the figure, you have the movie logo over here, you have Toei, Tamashii Nations, Bandai, S.H.Figuarts, S.H.Figuarts blurb, you have the window where you see the figure inside. On the side you have a very nice picture, glowing eyes, you know, fang guy and stuff. And on the back you get to see the figure in more poses, a closer look at the head sculpt, and at the back you can see that kind of Fangaya, that kind of church glass looking kind of design. So that's a really good touch, and will be really nice to see if we do get a 2.0 figure for, you know, Kiva, which we didn't. Alright, so I'll open her up and let you guys take a closer look at this beautiful figure, so stay tuned. Alright guys, here we have Kiva-la out of the packaging, and first look of figure, she looks beautifully done. I have to admit, she's one, in my opinion, one of the best looking S.H.Fs out there, because not only she's female, to say that she's female, so female S.H.Fs with a new body mode is always good because, you know, reasons, but also she gets a lot of good paint apps. That's it. And of course the mode is quite good as well, especially in the head area. Really love the head sculpt. Alright, so we have Kiva-la over there. Just gonna put drive type speed here for comparison. So for a female size, she scales quite well for a male figure, if you know what I mean. So just putting drive aside, I have nothing else to scale from. I guess fire here, but no reason. Right, so that's pretty much it for scale. She scales quite well with the others, I guess. Alright, so taking a closer look at the figure, you can see she's really beautifully done. Probably one of the best looking S.H.Fs out there. Really great. So head sculpt, you have the Kiva looking head sculpt because, you know, Decade, Kiva universe, whatever, blame him. So very nice purple metallic paint on the crest area with the bat wings, basically all around the head, travels all around, and you have this really nice hue to the purple, and this purple is also applied to her chest area, her boobs, whatever you want to call it, but they give a really nice shine, and that's a really good touch. That's always really nice to see, you know, metallic paint used on figures. Nice looking compound eyes with the red, some yellow detail in there to give a lot more life to the figure. You have the vampire teeth, whatever, the mouthpiece over there. And overall on this whole figure you have a lot of glossy white, kind of like a marble-ish white, and also pearlescent white. If you can see clearly, her undersuit has a bit of a pearlescent shine to it, and that's a really nice touch. Really like that. Shoulder pads and her armor, or collar and her armor, basically done a really nice gunmetal, light gunmetal Bandai silver. You have her boobs over there, you have the rest of her chest, her vest connecting around, like just like how the concept of Kiva works. And you have her skirt area over here, which is done on a separate piece on a little ball joint sticking out on her butt. So it's not that exposed, but it works really well when it needs to. Yeah, you can pose it around. It's on a small ball joint, but I'll go through articulation later on. So head detail really nice. You have the glossy white on the under helmet over here. Very nice. Shoulder pads also done in glossy white. Arms as well. Yeah, you have the purple metallic paint also on the hands, on all the rest of the hands actually, so that's really nice as well. You have her belly, her tummy, her crotch with that. It's a different shade of purple, metallic shade of purple, but it works well. You have this little yellow detail right below her chest, and you have more of that pearlescent white going all around the suit. You have these thingies. This figure has a lot of sculpted wrinkles and creases, which is really nice touch because it adds more realism to the figure, except the hip joints, but you can't blame the design because you know this is a female figure after all. But the creases and the wrinkles work really well for the most part, so that's really nice to see. You have the belt down a separate piece. You have the Kiva-la symbol over there, which unfortunately we don't have a separate accessory, but I guess that works because you know, if we do get the Kiva-la as a separate accessory, not a P-Bandai one, that would be great. But for what you get so far, it's really good. And you have her boots, that nice glossy white again, and you have some silver detail, and you have her high heels with that matte black to finish it off. And you have the ass. Yes, it's always about the ass. Right, so yeah, that's some weird noise, but for overall, this figure details really good overall. You have really nice hips, nice paint apps, lots of pearlescent white. It's really good touch. Really like this figure a lot. Right, so for articulation, you have a ball jointed head. Well, actually, it's not really on the ball joint. It's the typical Figuarts wrist joint in the neck, and you have a ball joint down here. So you get quite a good range. For what I can see here, she can look up really well. She can look down at her chest. You have head pivot, quite decent. You have 360 rotation, but they do get hindered by the collars. And do try not to give her head a 360 spin because they do tend to collide into the collar pieces and things tend to get messy. You know what I mean? Diaphragm ball joint, so she can turn crunch her backwards pretty far in with the aid of her lower waist joint, and her ab crunch is quite impressive as well. So back front very impressive. You have 360 movement, but I'll try not to do that because it may scratch off the paint. You have side to side, really impressive, but once again it's a female figure, so she has to be agile. You have a ball jointed shoulder. You do have the telescopic shoulder joints that pull out. No you don't. But yeah, you have the ball jointed shoulder in there. You have a universal joint that goes up this high. Yeah, it can go down. Bicep swivel, double jointed elbow. You have the wrist joint, and her shoulder pads. Her armor is quite interesting as well on the top. So you have hinges over here, so you can adjust these just in case you want to like move her hand upwards, and it kind of blends in together. You have a hinge on the shoulder pad and a ball joint at the silver separate piece, so you can post her armor in any way you want. Lower torso, you have a ball joint for the skirt, and you have these hinges that fold out, so you can adjust, and they kind of blend well from the back, from the front, so that's really nice to see. You have the pull down leg joints, because you know, kicking poses, fan service. They work well. It's just for the design, so you don't really get the 2.0 universal joints. Okay, focus, come on, focus. Right, so you have the pull down joints over here for the hips, your ball joint, so you can kick her, you can give her leg a pretty high kick. You have back movement, you have outward, which, does she do a split? Yes, she does do the splits. You have thigh swivel, that works well when it needs to. Double jointed knees, and you have the ankle front and back, which it's quite limited because of how her boot is designed, but it works well when it needs to. So you can kind of force the joint a bit, it gives you a bit of more movement. Or maybe it's because this figure is still kind of new. So you get back and front, you have 360 rotation, and you have ankle pivot, which works well, and you have the toe joint, which I don't really know why it's there, but I guess it helps. So she can give you kind of any extensions. Her heels work quite well, I mean her ankles, sorry. So her ankle joints work really well, they're kind of solid, they don't get really loose like you know how Mizu from Kamen Rider always works, which is a really bad figure. But she can give off an stance really decently without falling, because when I post this figure with her normal walking pose like she did in the pictures for the figure, she tends to fall over a lot because of how small the heels are. But if you need to play around this figure a bit, and then you get to discover how well she actually balances. So you have the figure overall. She does come with accessories, and she comes with a really decent amount for 60 Singaporean dollars, honestly. So she comes with hands, her two standard fists, holding hand for accessories and her weapon. You have a relaxed palm, open palm hand, which is really nicely detailed. You can see the vampire claws and all that. And you have a widespread open hand, which I always like to use for reasons. And she comes with a sword, which I don't know the name. Yeah, but it's done really well. You have more of that glossy white again going around along through the blade, the guard, whatever you call this. You kind of have a gate mark over there, but I'm not complaining. Metallic red on the hilt, purple plastic, you have that bit of gold detail over there. And overall this sword looks good. So she can hold it. Just gonna unpack. And just gonna put the sword down her hand. Alright, so the way she holds this sword is kind of weird, because for the pictures on the box she did hold her sword like this, but when you play around the figure she can't really hold it that well from the bottom because of how big the grip is. You can see there's actually quite a bit of space before she actually holds the sword properly. But to make her hold the sword properly, you kind of have to move the hand up to this white piece over here, because it's kind of thicker, it's kind of wider, so it kind of frictions against her hand well. So she can hold it quite decently, and you can give it more of an angle, so you know she can do that kind of that queen kind of pose, you know what I mean? So yeah, alright, my minor gripes with this figure is that she tends to get paint scratches easily. It's not that major, but it's there. So as you can see on her head there, if you can, she does get a bit of paint scratch. You can see the orange line going down along the purple, and you have a bit of the scuffage over there. So that's kind of unfortunate, but I'm not really complaining because I did make her fall on the table face down. And you do have to be careful of these black lines along on her suit, because of how her diaphragm joint works. They tend to collide into the lines and they tend to get scratched off. And of course the rest of the lines along her suit as well. So you do have to be careful with that. So yeah. Alright, so on my overall thoughts of this beautifully done figure, if you do intend to collect the other Decade figures, or Kiva in general, if Kiva ever comes out, you do get her. She's one gorgeous S.H.F, because you know those hips and boobs and stuff. And she has lots of nice paint apps applied. Just love the pearlescent white done on her undersuit. It's really impressive. And overall, I give this figure a 9.5 over 10 because, you know, reasons. But yeah, do take note of her possible paint scratches and whatnot on those parts of the figure like I mentioned earlier. And of course, pre-order is 60 Singaporean dollars in Singapore, and if you do get a chance to get her cheaper, do get it, because she's one beautiful figure. And if you do intend to get Decade renewal, you of course have to get her because they did fought in the movie. And yeah, which I'm planning to get, of course, if the pre-order was, though yeah, the pre-order's out, but I prefer 10. I tend to get renewal figures at local stores in general. Right, so that's pretty much it for the review. If you do enjoy this review, do leave a like, comment, and subscribe below. Subscribing to my channel really helps my channel a lot, so I really appreciate it if you do subscribe. This is Nicholas S.H.Figuarts Review signing out, and I hope to see you guys in another video. Peace.